Hello, thanks for joining me for another beer review then. Today I've got a beer from Yeastie Boys and it's a re-review of their pot Kettle Black. As you can see, it's saying a South Pacific Porter in a can. Now I reviewed this beer back on the 8th of July of 2016, was it? July? Yeah, the 8th of July 2016. I actually reviewed this beer on location at the former bottle shop in Bermondsey when it was on draft. At that point it was actually brewed by Brewdog up in Scotland, Ellen in Scotland. Now this can has actually been brewed and packaged by West Berkshire Brewery out of Berkshire. So yeah, but so these guys are originally out of Wellington in New Zealand, but they now brew here, obviously here in the UK and Scotland, or both, or one of the two, probably England. Also the United States and Australia, I think that's right. Just have a quick look just to make sure. Yeah, we're all up to date there. So this beer is a South Pacific Porter, or porter. What's it saying on Untapped for the style? Just says an American porter. So 6% ABV, 50 IBUs. This is a 330ml can, and we'll crack into it then. So it'll be interesting to see what my palate thinks of it. I done a score back in 2016 on the scale of I can't think what it was. I think it's Beer Advocate. I was using a bit more then, but putting it into Untapped and coming out with a score that, anyway. I'll put a link down below of that review when I'm a lot younger looking, not so fat and all that sort of carry on. I probably didn't have a beard then either, so beer in a glass. So 6%. It's a creamy, just off white head, one finger. In the light, I mean it's looking jet black, but it's not. There is some kind of like hues coming through, but not crazy. But it's actually really quite dark for a porter. So let's give it a swirl and a sniff. I'm really intrigued to do like re-reviews from like 4 years ago of the same beer, just to see if it's the beer or my palate. You know, there could be a mixture of the two, or one or the other. It's got a lot of big roasty malts in this, almost to the point where it's like a charcoal kind of like a briskety sort of meaty sort of aroma. Slightly sweet with that. There's definitely a char kind of element to the aroma. Maybe some slight kind of dark sweet fruits coming through in that. Maybe a little bit of fig or something, but it's very kind of minimal. It's more about the roasty malts, toasty malts, that kind of carry on. So let's get a taste on this one and then see how we compare it. Cheers. Quite harsh, a harsh kind of charcoal, bitter. Real kind of deep baker's chocolate, maybe a little bit of cocoa. Yeah, it's got that. It's a real char, not ashtray, but in that kind of sense. But I mean, you know that smell of ashtray. It's not that, but it's very bonfirey kind of esque. There is a little. It's kind of a. There's a slight coffee element as well, going with that kind of baker's chocolate. Once you get past that kind of real deep roasted malt element, it comes out a little bit the other side. A little bit there's a hint of dark fruit in there. Not much. It's more of a I don't know. Let me try and think. Oh. Yeah, it's more like a yeah. What is it? Is it plum? It's a real bold dark fruit, but subdued as well. It's like, I don't know. It's elements. It's not crazy, but what you are getting is quite strong. If that makes sense. It's a real kind of dry stout as well for me. That almost like roasted malt of the beer. It's really kind of drying effect for me, on my palate at least. Kind of sensation, if you know what I mean. It's nice, but it's just quite a dry, charry malt. That kind of there's no other flavour. It's almost like that kind of hint of a fig or something. It's been suppressed by that, for me anyway. I don't know. I don't know. It's an interesting one. I haven't watched my review back from 2016 because I just don't watch my reviews back anyway. So I would kind of be interested in seeing what difference there is, what I said back then to now, although it was on draft 4 years ago. It doesn't matter really, but it's still interesting just to see. But I mean, it's an okay beer. It's not blowing me away or anything. It's a very kind of charry, roasty, toasty, dry kind of porter, if that makes sense, without any kind of real dark fruit kind of element that's been allowed to say I'm here kind of deal, you know. Well, it's all right. It's really nice to try again, and it's nice to try in a can. But yeah, it's not really kind of my style of porter, if you like, or you know, general like low ABV stout type of thing. It's kind of a more a bitter on that end. It's not for me. It's too bitter. It's not sweet, balanced, kind of smooth. It's not creamy or anything like that, which is what I like out of this style of beer. But it's nice to try. It's kind of a bitter dry rather than a balanced kind of going on sweet type of porter. But that's just me. In terms of rating then, for me, my palate now in what's the date today? April of 2020. This beer, I'm giving this beer I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. So that's a 3.25 on the Untapped scale. But it's just my palate preference rather than what the beer is. Just go out and try it for yourself. See what you think. But that's just me. So anyway, let's go to the scores then. This had a lot of check-ins, of course. It's been around for a while. It's still got Brewdog on Untapped. It's brewed at West Berkshire Brewery in oh yeah, it's Berkshire. It's funny that. So 28,162 total check-ins on this one. This beer has actually had quite a lot. It's had 300 in the last 30 days. It's had 21,167 total ratings of this beer, and it's coming in at 3.7. That is spanning a hell of a long time. Different batches, over probably 2 different breweries brewing the beer, all filtered in. So it's coming out of an average of 3.7. So for me, this can on this day in 2020, brewed at another brewery from what I brewed it, or what I reviewed it before. I'm yeah, a 325 for me on this can. But it'd be nice to try this version on draft somewhere. We'll leave it at that. So if you've had this one at all, it's from Yeastie Boys. It's their pot Kettle Black South Pacific Porter. Legendary beer, actually. Really, in the last sort of 4 or 5 years. One of the first beers I actually come across. Yeah, interesting to try it again. Leave it at that. Anyway, let me know. I hope you're all keeping well. Please keep safe, and I will see you on the next review. Cheers for watching.